Hello everyone. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump into this week's discussion board post, which the question is, which of these services do you believe are most needed in rural communities? And this is referring to the social welfare services in chapter 5. And then what do you base your answers on? And then why? So all social welfare services are important when working with the rural population. However, a couple stand out to me kind of due to the rural school that I went to and what I kind of saw in that community. As I've kind of said before, I did open enroll to a very small country school. I believe the population was less than 2,500 in that town, and my graduating class was 65. So pretty small. From my understanding, that would be considered rural. Granted, everybody kind of has their own viewpoints on that. So the social welfare services that I believe are most needed in rural communities are going to include mental health and substance abuse services, and then healthcare services. So both of these appear to be pretty prevalent needs from what I've seen kind of growing up, and even what our text kind of talks about. So mental health and substance abuse services are greatly needed in rural communities. Daly states, this is a growing concern because the increase in the U.S. jail population has been spurred by small and mid-sized counties, which now house 75% of the current jail population. That is a lot. And then Daly actually goes on to explain that of the rural jail inmates, between 20 and 55%, which is a pretty big gap, have a mental illness. So between 1 in 5 and 1 in 2. This is going to be a growing concern because this shows that jails are becoming poor mental health facilities for rural individuals, rather than people going where they actually need to go to get the help that they need. Especially because many of which are suffering from substance abuse issues. Which this is definitely something I have seen in the tiny town I went to school. Many individuals that I went to school with see alcoholism as a normal and common thing. And they will actually start drinking from sunrise all the way to sunset, and they don't really see it as a significant issue. Now, my cousin, who's actually from this small community as well, he recently did get in trouble for drinking and driving. And this actually made him come forward and admit that he did have a drinking problem and that he was an alcoholic. So he now goes to a substance abuse recovery group weekly. However, there's none in the small community. So he has to drive 25 to 30 minutes away to get there. And since he lost his license, he is stuck relying on family members to get him there and back, which could be an issue, especially if family members aren't able to take him. Now, mental health and substance abuse is not going to be the only social welfare service social workers should highly focus on. Daly actually states on page 152 that approximately 1/3 of rural residents are in poor health, and approximately half have a chronic health condition. So this is very alarming. And Daly actually goes on to discuss that many of these individuals will not seek proper care due to not having any insurance, lacking trust in the system, not having the proper transportation to get to where the doctors are, and lack of medical care providers nearby. So this is something I definitely saw in this small community that I went to school in. They actually only have one local doctor, and that is it. So you have a town of all these people and there's only one doctor. It might be hard to get in. And if he doesn't take their insurance, it kind of becomes a nightmare trying to figure out where to go from there. And even with that, the closest emergency room and hospital is 25 to 30 minutes away too. So this could really hinder the community, especially if there's an emergency, a great need, something happens. It takes them much longer to get the proper care that they need. And this lack of healthcare providers and lack of insurance really does lead to inadequate care and further health decline. I actually saw where my great aunt and uncle, who also lived in this community, rarely saw the doctor due to living so remotely and not really trusting the healthcare system. And then I think there were some issues with insurance as well. And my great uncle, he now faces many health issues that could have been better treated and prevented had he been seen early on by a doctor. Now, they are actually living in a small metropolitan area, where his health has actually been improving, despite his old age. However, had he gotten the care earlier on, it probably wouldn't be so extensive. So these are just some of the reasons why I feel like these two things should really be a focus: mental health and substance abuse, and sorry, and just regular health care system things. So yeah, thank you so much.